Radio Network. Big Brother, mainstream media, government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
The system can lie to itself, but the technocrats sitting on top of the pyramid have built the technological modern society for more than 60 years in the West to take over the world, destroy national governments, establish a corporate world dictatorship, to social engineer depopulation programs. And the average yuppie goes, there are too many people. Have you ever been out in the Caribbean and you can drive in a boat for 20 minutes and not see any coral reefs or fish? But then when you get to a coral reef, it's just teeming with fish. It's the same thing with cities. You see all these people that brings commerce and brings life, and you're like, look at these people, look at these lines, look at the... You can have a movie theater because there's a bunch of people. You can have a big supermarket because there's a bunch of people. It takes people to build a civilization. If we don't have 2.1 kids, our civilization collapses. And by the way, we aborted 55 million people. We got to get 55 million people from Latin America. And they're good stock to build this country if they weren't being turned into imperial probe droids when they get here by the New World Order. They've already turned the American people, black, white, Hispanic, into TV head droids. They get these people up here so they can do stuff as biological androids before their next generation gets brainwashed by the televisions like Americans and soft-killed. That's what we're talking about here. We killed 55 million Americans, and that's why they admit in the big government congressional budget offices they got to legalize 33 million illegals. They want to bring more up here because we killed everybody. And by the way, don't worry, there'll be a shortage of Mexicans soon because most of their women are going to be sterilized with a Gardasil. It's already happening. Watch. The forced inoculation started last year. We are under attack. And you can argue all day long about are there too many people or aren't there. Hey, there's a covert and overt program to kill us going on. So let's have a discussion about what's going on. It's like I told you, the NSA was tracking everything you do. Oh, no, they're not. You're a conspiracy theorist. I told you all how they do it with the whistleblowers 16, 17 years ago. I mean, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm not on a power trip about that. It's like if I came to your house, and it's on fire, and you're laying in your front room watching TV with flames, and I go, get out of there, Bob, your house is on fire. You're like, shut up, conspiracy theorist. As you're like, I mean... if you got kids, I'm going to bust the door in, and I'm going to get your kids out of there. And if you give me a problem, I'm going to punch you right in the nose, Bob. I mean, it is getting down to that point where we just cannot continue to put up with this forever. Let's go to Truth Seeker on abortion. Go ahead.
Hi, Alex. I just wanted to call and let you know my opinion on abortion. I agree with you. It defiles the innocent and gives credence to just how ignorant the public is and easily deceived. And I just wondered if you had ever heard of a filmmaker called Bill Maloney. He did a movie called Nightmare on Elm Street, and it shows the link between the blackmailing, extortion, and political corruption that's going on in Britain. And Ted Gunderson also actually touched on this with the smart schools down in Mexico in a group called The Finders. It's a pedophile ring. And,
no, I know. I interviewed Ted Gunderson, bless his heart, he's dead now, many years ago on that. And I actually aired a documentary that Discovery Channel wouldn't air. I aired it 15 years after they wouldn't air it. I was given it by Ted Gunderson, and I aired it on Access Television and got it out there, and it's online now. People call me and say, have you seen this before? And yes, I've seen it. And now that was the CIA and D.C. and child kidnapping rings all over the country with the CPS confirmed. And actually, the D.C. police actually busted it, and we're going to stop it. And the national security was declared. I mean, it's unbelievable. Look, your children are like a T-bone steak to these people. And that's what I'm saying. If they can't kill them in the womb, they're going to torture and kill them outside the womb. By the way, Dr. Sherry Tenpenny's husband, reportedly, she said on her Facebook, has passed on to be with the Lord. And we send our condolences to her. We're going to send her some flowers. But I thought I should mention that, pray for her, that she has peace. But that's that information. Thank you, ma'am. Adam Kokesh coming up. 50 years, iodine has been phased out of our staple foods and replaced with the halogen bromine, a practice now banned in nations around the world. Guess what else is in the halogen family? Fluoride. Ladies and gentlemen, Alex Jones here. In 1924, the federal government did the right thing and encouraged salt producers to add iodine. It's the good halogen on the periodic table, and the results are on record. Reports documented a 15-point IQ increase in areas that had previously been deficient in iodine. Bottom line, iodine is important. Unbound, clean, in a glycerin base. Nascent iodine was the answer for myself and my family. You will find Survival Shield Nascent Iodine exclusively at InfoWarsLife.com. InfoWars Life Survival Shield Nascent Iodine isn't just for emergencies. I take it every day. That's InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. Introducing Pro One. All of your filtration in one system, portable, on the go. No more do you have 2 or 3 filters to just reduce sodium fluoride. You have a system that cuts out the sodium fluoride and up to 95% of hydrofluorosilicic acid. Advanced manufacturing technology combines silver-impregnated white ceramic with new Aquamedics advanced media for removal of fluoride and other heavy metals, all in one filter element. It is the only one that does it, and out of the gate, we have it discounted at 10% off with promo code WATER. This is the only system that in one unit helps reduce or remove pesticides, herbicides, chloramines, ammonia, and chlorine, hydrofluorosilicic acid, the most common form of fluoride not covered by other fluoride filter brands, and sodium hexafluorosilicate. Get your Pro Pure with the new Pro One filters today at InfoWarsStore.com or by calling 888-253-3139.
Crashing through the lies and disinformation. It's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network.
We've got Adam Kokesh with us, and I'm going to talk about his case, but then I want to throw a curveball at him. I was just thinking about this during the break, looking at him getting punched up on Skype. Libertarian patriot activist Adam Kokesh, Second Amendment activist, human empowerment activist. He's a good guy. About the dehumanization, depopulation program. Because, you know, Adam over the years, whether it was on 9/11 or a few other issues, and I don't blame him. Those are controversial issues and, you know, can't be 100% proven one way or the other. You know, we kind of say Alex is a little bit far out there. And I think it's good to have a more spirited debate about that. But, I mean, this stuff is all just right here. They're replacing the military with robots. They're designing the whole grid to go after individuals. They're trying to disarm and dehumanize and make the public sick on record. Lighthouse Science, Czar, Eco-Science, they put fluoride in the water to give you cancer and dumb you down. And people go, oh, that's a little extreme. Because you've got to admit, we're under total positronic attack, you name it, if you look at all their admissions. And that's the thing. Then it's not fun anymore to just kind of halfway fight this. And I'm not talking about Adam Kokesh. I'm talking about the general public. Believe me, I wish you guys were right. So I want to ask Adam Kokesh what he thinks of basically the worldview I'm putting out. Not what he thinks about me, but, you know, what does he really think? What does he think the world system's based on? Where does he think it's going? What does he think about the New World Order, global governance? But I first want to talk about the fact that he has so much courage in a land of cowards to go and rack a shotgun, which is the D.C. Heller case. An off-duty cop couldn't even have a shotgun in his house for his own safety. Security guards that, guarded places where they had enemies couldn't have guns. And 5 years ago, plus the Supreme Court said you got to let them have guns. Still no guns. Same thing there in Chicago. Not just in the District of Criminals, there between Maryland and Virginia on the East Coast, but also in the middle of the country, up there on the Great Lakes, you got Chicago. That still doesn't let anybody have guns unless you're an insider government person. Then you get some special permit nobody else can get. You give $20,000 to the mayor's reelection campaign, suddenly you get one. And that's by the way how you get gun permits in New York is you give the going price is $20,000 to the mayoral campaign or the reelection campaign, and then you get one. If you don't, you can be a cop, and you're going to have trouble getting one, or a retired cop. So this is the way this works now. Okay, and they're going to get rid of the police and the warrior class and guns soon with the whole robotic takeover that's being reported on today. So I want to get into the futurist mind of Adam Kokesh and get into some topics I haven't heard him talk a lot about. I know he's talked about a lot of subjects, but I've missed it if he has. Of course, he's hosted shows on national television, his radio host, and of course he got arrested and then set up, and a lot of stuff happened, and I kind of want the long and short of that to then move forward. He just got sentenced with probation, where he's going now. Hope he doesn't just disappear into Hollywood movies because he's starring in some pretty big movies that are coming out. I could have gone that route as well. That's pretty much how they get you to join the system. Or if you're talented, they just need good actors. But he's got some of that stuff coming up as well. And he joins us right now. So, Adam, I threw a lot of stuff out there, as I usually do. Let's talk about your case.
That's a great introduction, Alex. I'm so grateful. And before we get into it, let me just say, human empowerment activist is the greatest title you could give me, and I'm so grateful for that and your appreciation of my work. And I got to say, I got thousands of letters when I was in jail. A lot of them were from fans of Infowars.com and your show, and I know you had my back while I was in there when when I was getting betrayed by a lot of people that I thought had my back, and I'm really, really grateful for that. So I can't thank you enough for having me on today when I'm just trying to put my life back together and get back on my feet. As you mentioned, I'm dealing with probation right now, and actually just today, before I did our sound check for this, I was on the phone with my probation officer. I'm banned from D.C. from 2 years, so I got to get it transferred to California. You don't have to worry about me going Hollywood. I'm not talented enough. We've tried that, but I am looking to relaunch AVTM as Adam vs. the Man 4.0. And I learned a lot of lessons the hard way, but we're going to come back better and stronger with the product that the fans deserve. So for people who want to support that still, AdamVersusTheMan.com. And Alex, really, your support of activists like me is incredible. And that's one of the things that I really look forward to doing again is getting forward to being a part of the Liberty Movement media community and supporting independent activists who do take the risks and put themselves in harm's way.
Well, people are always calling for armed marches, and they're always calling for get tough, do this and that, and then you do it. And you got a lot of support, but also a lot of criticism, especially from backbiting so-called libertarians and other people who don't really want to, take the full society back. And I'm not mad at anybody. My point is when people are down, that's when I'm really in their corner. And I mean, I want more activists. I want more leaders. I want to win this thing. I know we can win it if we stop thinking like losers and realize we have the good ideas. We have the product that sells. Legalize freedom, as Ron Paul says. And I just admired, you were first to tell me. I was sitting, I think it was a Saturday morning. I just swam 2 miles at Barton Springs. And I was sitting there just deliciously exhausted in my truck, about to go home and make my kids lunch. And you sent me a text and said, this YouTube link just went live 5 seconds ago. And I was like, when I went to it, it said 2 views. and boom, and of course, they get views in seconds. And I saw you rack that shotgun down there. Recap for folks what you did, the thought crime, and now where all that went. And reportedly, you said they tried to set you up with drugs. And then talk about what happened to you in jail and where all that's going.
Sure. Well, it started with the proposal of an armed march, and then when I got disappeared in Philadelphia for a week, and I was really lucky with how that played out. I mean, if you get set up on false felony assault of a federal officer charges, there's only one good way that turns out, and that was that they did drop the charges, but I had to play hardball, and I was in solitary there for a week.
But the feds came back, and this time planted stuff. See, that's the issue. They never stop. Right. once they come after you.